It seems that US Ambassador Gary Locke is rarely out of the Chinese media these days. Of course, the role he played in helping blind political activist Chen Guangcheng to find sanctuary in the US Embassy and then in negotiating with the Chinese authorities were not reported in Chinese media at the time, but soon afterwards, no less than 4 Beijing-based daily newspapers published editorials critical of his actions, and in the case of the Beijing Daily, attacking him quite personally. The negative reactions to these editorials, and particularly to the one in the Beijing Daily, were so intense that Sina Weibo, China's most popular microblogging platform, blocked searches for the paper's name. Now the Beijing Daily seems to have done it again. The newspaper's official Weibo account reposted a message from a microblogger called Woodbell Wei Zhiqi, which read, "Locke lives in a magnificent embassy, drives a bulletproof car and has US citizens pay for his lifestyle. How is this austere? Why does Locke never mention this? Why does he only mention when he buys coffee with coupons and takes economy flights? If this is not showing off, then what is?" Well, the paper also added its own comment to this, saying, "Won't Gary Locke please disclose his personal assets?" Now, this resulted in a deluge of comments or reposts which pointed out that all US public representatives have to disclose their assets, and these are available online for public viewing. Some net users suggested the Beijing Daily write an editorial calling on Chinese officials to do likewise. Others pointed out that the incidents mentioned in the original post were raised by the public and not publicized by the embassy. In the wake of a storm of criticism, the Beijing Daily deleted its post. So what do Chinese net users feel about the whole affair, and how do they feel about Gary Locke's performance? Well, to find out, let's check in with our researcher, Julia Liu, who's in the newsroom. Okay, Julia, so what sort of things are being said about Ambassador Locke and the Beijing Daily's apparent obsession with the top US diplomat in China?
Oh, well, first, I want to mention something interesting about this reposting. So the Beijing Daily is a widely read paper with a lot of readers, but its Weibo account is set up so that only a few people that it allows can post comments. Well, that means that when it reposted the message about Locke by Wood Bell, other net users have to keep reposting the message to express their own opinions. Something else a little odd is that it deleted its own comments, and the reposting net users just couldn't find the original Woodbell account. So it seems that after he posted this attack on Locke, he also disappeared, raising suspicion that he was just an invention of the paper in the first place. But whatever about that, the vast majority of net users view the Beijing Daily has been caught with its pants down. Ma Jiaduo from Xici.com says, "Is there something wrong with these people's brains? Gary Locke disclosed his wealth long ago. Those who haven't revealed their wealth to the public are your leaders." And this poster, Shui Dixia, is also scornful, saying, "Does the Beijing Daily know the meaning of the word shame? Who do they think they are? How could they ask a US official to make his wealth public? Have they ever asked a Chinese official to make their wealth public?" And this poster, 人各有志, sees the ridiculous side of it and refers to the fact that the Beijing Daily is under the control of Beijing's city leadership. This is so funny. Since they won't disclose their assets publicly, now they decide to force others to do it. But others think net users may have misread this. MITBBS.com says, "I think people totally misunderstand what the Beijing Daily did. They are being ironic. Exactly because of this reposting, I think Chinese officials will now come under a lot of pressure from net users." And Kai Fu Li, CEO of Innovation Works and founding president of Google China, also agrees with this. "Thanks to the Beijing Daily for that. Since Gary Locke has already made his financial situation public, now what Beijing Daily should do is to keep pushing this line."
Okay, so Gary Locke, obviously no stranger to the pages of Chinese newspapers. Just why do net users feel the Chinese press is so obsessed with him?
Well, one reason put forward by many net users is his Chinese ethnic background. And they point out that when he was appointed the new US ambassador, many Chinese media seem to mention this and suggested it might make him in some way more pro-China. Then, of course, there are all those reports of his ordinary man in the street behavior, such as flying economy class, of carrying his own bags. And a lot of people suspect that many Chinese officials won't feel comfortable with his unassuming manner. Here's a poster on Weibo.com. When the abnormal becomes normal, then the original normal becomes abnormal. This is the reason I think Gary Locke gets so much attention from the Chinese media. And I have to say, welcome to this looking glass land, Mr. Ambassador. And it seems that this poster, 平凡如歌, also feels the same. What we can get from this big joke, I think many Chinese officials must find the ambassador's behavior unbelievable. And when such unbelievable things happen again and again, what will they do? It seems that they freeze him out. Besides these opinions, a poster called Dingo has this to say. To be honest, I don't care about whether Gary Locke is showing off or not. What I want to ask is, could our Chinese officials also do things like flying economy or buying coffee with coupons? If they could, then who would care even if it is showing off?
Okay, Julia. Just one thing that has arisen from all this discussion seems to be why Chinese government and party officials are so reluctant to be transparent about their wealth. Now, I know there have been some attempts to move in this direction, but they are generally fiercely resisted, except at the very lowest levels. None of them have ever actually come to anything. Anything being said about this unusual shyness about wealth?
Well, from what I've seen, I have to say most net users don't seem that optimistic on this question. Many say if the government really wanted to do this, then it would already have happened. This posting from 163.com is a typical one, saying, how could they dare make their wealth known to the public? As far as I know, 9 out of 10 officials would have corruption issues, so why would they do this? And this poster, Minghui1026, also thinks it is better not to expect more from this issue. And he says, even if the officials decide to make their wealth known to the public, I would not trust them. Why? Because it's too easy for them to transfer the assets and then make some false declarations. However, in this poster's idea, this time the case of Beijing Daily may just become a new start. This is what he has to say. To be honest, many countries have corruption problem, but some of them indeed have good ways of dealing with it. So in my opinion, what we should do after this case is to learn some effective way and to set up some useful supervision system with the aim of not allowing such embarrassment again. Finally, what this poster 终端爱生活 says is more direct. In my opinion, there's no easy way. What the government should do now is to increase public supervision. And when any corruption is found, the government needs to punish it severely. And I think that will be really helpful on dealing with the corruption problem.
Or alternatively, just insist that all officials from top to bottom declare their assets. Okay, thanks for that, Julia. And that was China Take researcher Julia Liu with online reaction to Beijing newspapers, US Ambassador Gary Locke and financial transparency. Next up on China Take, some of the top trending phrases on China's most popular search engines.